he wants to carry it on, and I think he's made reference about his hair as well, hasn't he? You know, a few years ago he didn't have anything on his head, and now he's got a better mop of hair than you guys, you know.
Just another name to add to the long list of people who Jose Mourinho has fallen out with. We can stick it on the list with club doctors and linesmen and FA and pretty much every single opposition
Fergie as well, he fell out
country.
with Fergie, didn't he, at Porto? He's great at him, so let him carry on.
Right, let's move on the topic for a little bit. Let's go on to the big news that's come out today, the Alexis Sanchez deal. We all thought he was going to the blue camp. We all thought he was heading to the other side of the city and signing for Manchester City. It was done and dusted. You even had KDB coming out in the press and saying it was a when, not an if, when Sanchez joined Manchester City. But now, today, it doesn't look like it's necessarily done. Wenger's saying that Sanchez might stay in North London. You've got Chelsea and Manchester United both putting in bids for Sanchez. So should United now go all out to get this player in this window?
Oh, mate, if we could get Sanchez, without doubt, go for him. He's a very, very good player. Maybe not the perfect sort of player that we'd be after, but still someone who would massively improve our team and would get a hell of a lot more games at us than he would at City. I still don't want to get carried away with it, though. I think it's pretty much done deal now for Sanchez and City, and maybe this is something that he's put out there, his camp, and he's trying to get a little bit more money out of City because he knows that he can get it. But
well, the reports are that he's turned down a £25 million signing on fee for City to make the deal happen. So clearly money maybe isn't the question for him. Maybe it's something else that's motivating them.
Don't tell me that this is a Berbatov thing where we turn up at the airport and pick him up.
Do you know what I'd do? Do you know what I'd do, lads? I'd check Sanchez and I'd get his mate Ozil, go to Arsenal, say, what do you want for the pair of them now? Get them both. You know, but I feel for Arsenal, I think that, especially to United, that they won't sell them. Look at the Van Persie thing, but we're speaking here now. Sanchez could be in his house in London with a little boy screaming inside him, United, like Robin did. You know, so you never know. No disrespect to City, but they've got no history. They've got a few quid, not like us. If you, like you say, it's not about money, but like you said before, Gaz, do you want to come into a team what's fighting for stuff now? But who'd come out? Who would you play? Who would he come in for at City? You know, for us, he'd come in at number 10 straight away all day long. You know, he can play as a 9, he can play out wide. He's a great player.
It's not about money necessarily for the player, but it is about money for Arsenal, because they're being offered 20-25 million for a player that they've obviously valued in the past as much higher and are currently valuing it much higher. So surely there's some wiggle room there for United to get the checkbook out, bid a massive bid that blows City out the water, and then the club don't have to accept both bids, do they? It's not only up to the player.
No, I just think that, like Gaz said, I think it's already done for City, open wrong. I'd love to see him. We've got a big number 7 there, empty at Old Trafford, you know, he'd slip right into that. I think it's done at City, like I say, open wrong. If he's not signed or there's a pre-contract agreement, let's go out and offer Arsenal whatever, because he's a great player. You know, and he'll only make us better. Something what we've lacked out for me is something, especially if you go to that right-hand side. So go and get your mate as well, Mezit. We'll have you both.
I think sometimes, I know it's so difficult to do, but sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to think, like, take allegiances out of the equation and just think, like, why would he want to go to United above Man City? Obviously, like Webby said, you know, completely right with City compared to United. There's nothing in the history side of things. But footballers nowadays, do they really care about that? I mean, he's 29 years old. He's not got a hell of a much longer in his career playing at the top level. Does he really want to go to United, who aren't, we're not the finished product at the minute. We're still not. We've still got many areas of our team that need to be improved. This season in the league, City have shown that they're essentially another level from the rest of the league at the minute. Or does he want to go to City, who are already pretty much guaranteed to win the league this season, putting them in good stead for next season and the future? I kind of think, why would he want to? Because it'll be a big complication for him to come to United now as well, since I do think it was set in stone that he was going to City. And the only thing that I can think why he would go to United is if he has some, like you said, a little boy inside of him, like Robin Van Persie did, and he's just a very sort of, you know, the history and the tradition is something that he holds quite dearly. But I don't think that is the case as it is for many footballers nowadays.
So put a bid together for me. So you're going to Arsenal. They're not necessarily interested in just money because it's January transfer window. It's difficult to get decent players and they want decent players. Who's going out the door the other way that's going to interest Arsenal?
I tell you who he quite fancied, have for years, Chris Smalling. Finger's a big fan of him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Chris Smalling, I'd give him... get the pair of him, get Ozil, get Sanchez, give him Mkhitaryan, give him Smalling and a couple of mil. Happy days all round, Jim. But I know Wenger's a very, very big fan of Smalling. He has been for years, and he did go toe-to-toe with United when he was at Fulham when we bought him. He really likes him, really rates him. So maybe Smalling could be put into that as well, you know, could soften the blow. You know, he's a London boy. He might well get back up that neck of the woods, you never know. So let's see what happens. Like you're saying, we're going to be linked with everybody till this window shut. I can't wait for this window to shut. You know, every day we're signing him, we're signing that player, we've got this player coming in. We do need to add to the squad, you know. But what gets me, I've got this thing that Sanchez has already done for City. Like I say, I'm open wrong, but I think it's already done. But we can all but believe and dream.
I think we do keep repeating ourselves just because we don't want to seem silly, but we are pretty sure that he is going to City. But should it not happen, I mean, I know the name that you're probably alluding to, which is going around a lot today, is Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Yep.
Now, that I think would make complete sense. I think he's shown with his time at United that the Premier League is not his speciality. He's just not built for it at all. He did well in the Europa League last year, but let's face it, that's below us. We're above that. That's his level, essentially. So I suppose Arsenal would be the perfect place for him to go, I suppose.
Came off after 45 minutes against Derby, didn't he, Mkhitaryan? Was that his last roll of the dice for Jose?
I thought he actually played better against Derby than he did against Southampton. I was shocked that he took him off. But like I said, he's more suited for the European game. Last year in the Europa League, he was our best player in the story, you know. And you look at Shinji Kagawa, who come over, struggled a bit in the Premier League, went back to Germany, just fell back into place. Different types of football. He'll go back over there, he'll fall back into it. I just think he's not suited for the Premiership.
If you want to get involved, the number to call is 0345 111 7625 is the number, 87711 is the text number. Of course, it's January. We're going to be talking transfers. Who do you want to see coming in? Who do you want to see going out of Old Trafford this year? We're going to talk ticket prices very soon with United's reaction to Sevilla hiking up the prices for their tickets for the Champions League game and anything else you want to discuss. Get involved. 0345 111 7625 is the number. We'll talk to you next on the Access Manchester Football Social.
The Access Manchester Football Social, winning
This is XS Manchester's Football Social. It is the Full-Time Devils takeover. I'm Jim. We've got Gaz and Webby in the studio waiting to take your calls on 0345 111 7625 is the number. 87711 is the text number. Gaz, you've got the Facebook Live and the YouTube comments over there. What are people saying about transfers?
Yeah, we're live on Full-Time Devils on YouTube and Facebook if you want to go and watch us along with listening to us. There's a few people who aren't really too happy about the two Arsenal players that we're linked to. Historian Phil has put a comment in saying, no to both Arsenal players. They've done nothing for Arsenal and now want a big payoff. No, thanks.
Done nothing for Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a little bit controversial.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Let's see what other people are saying. This is an interesting one. Still Shining TV just says Ozil has 65 pace. I think you need to stop playing FIFA, mate, and start watching real football.
I mean, the Ozil thing is quite an interesting one because Jose's a massive fan of him, isn't he? He called him the best number 10 in the world when they were at Real Madrid together. So could you see him fitting into the United setup in that number 10 position?
I think it'll be very interesting. I hope he's not a player who slows us down if he was a player to come in, because we've had many players who are very good at number 10 players but they're just a little bit too slow with the ball. And especially when you've got pacey lads like Martial and Rashford in the team and they make bombing down the wings and stuff like that, and then you've got a number 10 who just wants to chill out on the ball. And, you know, it's nice to have a silky player like that, but I think we need someone who can really move us. I think that's what our counter-attacks have been lacking at times this season.
I'd check him, yeah. I think he's a great player. Obviously, Mourinho had him together at Real Madrid. You don't play for Real Madrid if you're not half right. I think he's done all right for Arsenal. I think the thing with Arsenal is that some games, obviously when they've been getting beat, the emphasis has been put on him. He's hiding, the sun's not shining. It's one of those players, if the sun's shining, you're free up, he looks great.
It's that rainy night in Stoke cliche, isn't it?
It is, if you can say it, Jim. Yeah.
I can't know.
No, if you get him on a free, Jim, you check him all day long. How much does he want per week? You know, I'd have a go at him, mate. Mourinho likes him, he likes Jose. So let's see how it goes. But like I said, I'd set the pair of him, and I can't understand what the lad's saying. What have they done for Arsenal? You know, them two have virtually carried the team for the last couple of years, you know what I mean? Because Arsenal, Mr. Wenger's had some really, really bad buys, and them two have stood out for me, you know. Obviously, for the football club, Jim, at that size, they shouldn't let it get it down to the last year, you know. Look at the Fellaini thing now, you know. We're going to talk about him in a bit. If he doesn't want to stay, Jim, bye-bye. You know, I'm not going to lose any sleep if Marian Fellaini leaves my football club. I think he's done a lot better under the Mourinho. But if you don't want to play, you don't want to sign, see you later, mate. You know, we've had bigger and better players leave this club, you know, and if he doesn't quite fancy it, 120 grand a week, I wouldn't mind going at myself. If you don't fancy it, bye-bye, you know. So it's all about if he wants to stay. Apparently he's not going to sign a contract, so I'll try and get some money for him now and not let him walk free.
And what you're getting at, Webby, with the greatest respect to Fellaini, is there is a lot of difference between letting Marian Fellaini leave on a free and Alexis Sanchez leave on a free.
Just a bit, Jim, just a bit.
Right, let's go to the phones. We've got Wayne on line one. Evening, Wayne.
Oh, good evening, gents. How are you all?
Evening, Wayne.
Good, mate.
Yeah, it's so frustrating being a Man United fan at the moment. You know, there's so many sort of like players that we're linked with, but you always know in the back of your mind that we're so slow off the mark getting him. I mean, there's a young lad in the French football called Malcolm now. There's a lot. I mean, I've watched a lot of him, and he looks a really, really good player. But they won't pay the money. They'll argue over paying. Just what do you want for him? 50 million. Right, okay. Well, we'll give you 30 up front. Let's do a few add-ons. Let's get it done. Do you understand where I'm coming from a little bit, lads? We tend to be the last ones in the queue, you know, to get these sort of players.
I'm sorry, when I always remember in the 80s, we missed out on John Barnes for haggling over the 150,000 and he signed for Liverpool. Glenn Hussein's and the ones come to mind, you know. We're the biggest club in the world. We've got to go, if, like you said, if they want 50 million, give them 30, 35 and put the ads on. We mess about and we lose a lot of players now. It shouldn't happen to a club like that, you know. People just come in and say, how much do you want for him? We'll pay it. I remember Chelsea when they bought Jobco. I remember the chairman saying the money was in the bank the next day. You know, the full amount fee. You can't mess around. If you want the best, you've got to pay the best.
The thing is, there seems to be a criticism nowadays levelled at football teams who make sensible business decisions. You have to go and spend silly money. You look at the Chelsea-Everton situation with Barkley. Chelsea...
That's a right steal, Jim.
Well, but they made a brilliant decision because they had a player that was injured that they left at the club. His contract ran down. He wasn't going to play in the meantime. And they're getting criticised for making a sensible business decision. And it seems like, as a football club, you're not allowed to do that now.
Well, exactly. But But it's one of those things as well where I understand Webby saying, you know, go out and spend 50 million on him, and I understand why there's a lot of people who say, oh, I don't want us to become one of them clubs that spends and spends and spends. But whether you like it or not, that's what you need to do nowadays to actually succeed. Football has got itself into a position where you need to go out spending silly money every transfer window to keep up with the teams at the very top. So we need to decide, do we really want to be the biggest club in the world like we keep saying we are, or do we want to be a team that can feel good about ourselves because we play a lot of young players and we don't overspend too much money, but we're finishing outside the top 4 occasionally?
It just doesn't make up to me. Yes, I know we've got a lot of we're a PLC really, aren't we? I understand all that, and there's shareholders to look after, and I do respect that. But surely, the way we are now, we will not win a league title the way that the transfer system, how we run it. We won't do it. I mean, we only have to look at the winger side of it. I mean, Martial, Rashford, they're too inconsistent. You'll get one good game out of them and 5 poor games.
The young lads, though.
Young lads, totally respect that. Now you've got Sanchez at Arsenal. Just ring him up and just say, what do we have to do? What is the price at the moment? You know, bring him in. Don't wait until somebody else decides to pay it, and then we're all sat there next season thinking, dear me, what would Sanchez have done? What would Ozil have done for us last year? You know, it's wrong. It's not fair on the fans. We pay good money. We deserve to be buying the best. If we're the biggest club in the world, or we say we are, go out and buy it.
Wayne, cheers for your call, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for coming on. Well, there's someone supporting the idea of bringing Sanchez to the club. I think Rodney's going to echo that. Evening, Rodney.
Evening.
Evening, Roger.
You all right, guys?
Yeah, good pal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've listened to the last 10 or 15 minutes, not too long home from work, and I heard the news. I think, obviously, if it's possible to get Sanchez to Old Trafford, it would be great. I don't understand, first, how the initial link for Sanchez to go to City when he couldn't get into the Barcelona side when Pep was manager. He found it very difficult, which is why he was sold, because Pedro was ahead of him. But in terms of Manchester United actually bringing in quality players, and he is a quality player, along with Ozil, we have a vacant number 7 shirt there. It's not about the money, it's about the history, and I think the number 7 shirt means a lot to Manchester United fans. He currently wears a number 7 shirt at Arsenal, and they don't understand him as a player. And I think United fans would definitely get Sanchez, and he would definitely get Manchester United.
There's got to be something in it for United to make this bid. They've not denied it or said it, so they've heard something that obviously this City thing has not been done. Now they've gone apparently through Sky, they've outbid whatever City's offered. Now, to me as a player, I want to come to Manchester United Football Club, you know, and he could bring us on.
But you're a United fan, Webby, and you got Rodney saying there's a historical significance about the number 7 shirt United. Yeah, with 100% there is, but Sanchez,
does he really care? Does he care? That is the thing. And as much we want to tell ourselves that they do. Go on, Rodney.
I honestly think a player of his quality and calibre is a winner. He's won competitions and trophies with his national team, but he hasn't mirrored that at club level, not to what he wants to do. He would be able to do that at Manchester United. He spent far too long kicking his heels at Arsenal. He would then go and be a sub at Manchester City because the wealth of talent that they currently have, which are probably just as good and 5 or 6 years younger, he would walk into a Manchester United team as an elder statesman who would be able to say, I'm a winner on an international stage, I'm here to add value to this club. It makes total sense. So I know that there's some Man United fans that say, oh, the link to Arsenal, I couldn't give 2 hoots about that. Bring him in. Bring him in with Ozil. Get him there now. Job done.
Nice one, Rodney. Thanks for your call, mate. Really appreciate that. If you want to get involved, 0345 111 7625 is the number. 87711 on the text. We got Graham on the line. Evening, Graham.
Hi there.
Evening, mate.
Hi there. That's the question going out. Basically, I'm going on Mourinho's comments from last week on how the bigger clubs need to pay more. So why is that Sky reporting that we need to pay more money and give Sanchez a higher wage and offer Mkhitaryan for a player that Mkhitaryan last season was absolutely phenomenal. We've just fell out of favour this season. So I just don't really see how that one's getting on. I really want to see what we could get out of this bargain. Are we really getting out of this bargain? We'll get a good number 7, yeah, but is it really worth giving a 30 million player then 30 million up front?
I just think they threw Mkhitaryan in because of the word is that obviously he's been brought off the last 2 games. He's not been in the squad. I think they're just using his name, you know. Now, I don't think Mkhitaryan would go part of the deal. I think Smalling would, personally. Mkhitaryan. Chris Smalling, for me, I remember him getting sent off in the derby, and then he was our best player for about 4 months. He was superb. But then he's gone back for me. He's gone back for me, and I don't think we'd miss Smalling. I know Jose and the certain members of the staff was worried about the corners, the grabbing how they broke, and he didn't get in the team for the start. And if everybody's fit, he's not going to play every week, you know. So maybe use Smalling, but Mkhitaryan, I'd like to keep him.
Smalling was much better when he was Mike, put it that way. He's gone back to Chris now.
I don't think the bonus, if you get rid of Smalling, you're saving about 6 injuries, that's even in training at least, because how bad he is in training for individual players.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what as well, mate, you mentioned the Mkhitaryan thing, and I think the Mkhitaryan thing actually makes me believe this a little bit more, because if this rumour just came out of nowhere, it wasn't true, and all of a sudden we're linked with swapping Mkhitaryan for Sanchez, you'd think that United would come out and say, hang on, that's not right, you know, we don't want our player.
Make a statement of intent, but
exactly.
I think it's going the way that Mkhitaryan is a player that Wenger would probably want, because he is he's a bit of a luxury player, but he's also a talented player, so Wenger might think, I can get the best out of him, and we'll lose a good player, but we'll get one in return, and we're making money on it, which they can use to sign a player. I just don't think that's worth Sanchez, personally. If City can get him for 30 million, but we need to throw in a 30 million player as well.
Correct. You mentioned before that Mourinho said the big clubs have to pay more. That is just something you need to come to terms with, though, isn't it? That you do have to pay more as a big club. Liverpool, anyone who Liverpool goes in for now at the moment, the people selling their player know they have £145 million burning a hole in their pocket, so they are going to add £10 million, £15 million to the club.
Burning a hole in the shell soup.
That's just what happens when it's Manchester United involved, isn't it? Look what happened to Pogba when we tried to sign him.
Do you know what? That's a right bargain now. If you look at all the transfers, Pogba's a right bargain. End of story, you know.
People, as Mourinho said, you'd look back a year later and say it was always going to be worth the money. It's just because the fact, look at that Neymar transfer, it's out the window.
Graham, cheers for your call, mate. Appreciate that. Nice to speak to you.
Thank you.
0345 111 76 25. If you want to get involved, pretty much everyone keen on Sanchez coming to an Old Trafford, it seems, apart from Adnan. Hey, Adnan, you all right?
Hello. Yeah, not bad. How you doing?
Not very well. Very well. So no Sanchez for you, mate.
Listen, he's a great player, but the last 6 months, he's had a stroppy attitude at Arsenal. And that's not something I think. We can't have a squad that balances, is almost volatile at some point because of our manager. It can go restart, and he'll be one of the players that could really add a negative impact to the dressing room, if you know what I mean.
Do you not think that he probably has been stroppy at Arsenal just because he wants to get out, though, mate? Do you not think that would be a different attitude if he comes to Man United?
Listen, maybe it would be, but like he's done this before. Like he had the same issue at Barcelona under Pep. I know somebody spoke about it before. He couldn't get into that Barcelona side, and he threw his hands up and wanted out. Fair enough. If he can't, like what happened? He's a left-handed side player, right? What happened is Martial, who's been brilliant this season, carries on playing the way he does, and Sanchez has no choice but to sit on the bench. Is he going to be happy to take that? I don't think he will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Yeah, I know what you mean. To be honest, though, I kind of, it's interesting there that you mentioned Martial, actually, because I hope that if we were to bring in Sanchez and we were to, you know, spend quite a bit of money on him, I hope that doesn't have a detrimental effect to any of the young players that are currently at the club.
I just think someone like Sanchez, you know, and Ozil, who have played all around the world at great club, I only think it's a bonus to bring him in with the kids like Heba did last year, and you could hear the kids saying, he's taught me this, he's brought me on here, you know, it'd only be a bonus for the younger players. But saying that about him being a bit sulky, I just can't understand why he never started him last night. It's the semi-final of the Cup. They're playing Bournemouth away at the weekend now. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but that game last night was Arsenal's biggest game for a long time, and he has him on the bench.
He claimed it was tactical, didn't he? But at the end of the day, it's a player they don't want to get injured, because if he gets injured...
There's no money.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be down to that.
I always remember the scenario a few years ago, lads. Steve McManaman, when he let his contract run down at Liverpool, and he absolutely just mugged them off. For 4 months he didn't do anything because he didn't want to get injured, and his dream move to Real Madrid goes up the wall, and I think that's the point that some of these players are doing. You know, I've got a bit of a tight hamstring. Nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
You know, because you can imagine a scenario if Sanchez breaks his leg on his last game for Arsenal and the move goes, he's a free agent and he never plays again. So you don't know what's going inside the mind, but very strange decision.
What is worrying as well, like you've just mentioned then, Adnan, you said you mentioned that he's been stroppy for 6 months. United at the minute, we've been very up and down the last few years. We've had periods of the year where we're in great form and periods where we're just awful. And I don't want us to bring in players that when their heads go down, that's it. You know what I mean? They're only they're only performing well when the game's going for them. I really don't want us to bring in players like that. So if like you mentioned, Sanchez has been like that, then maybe that is a bit of a concern.
It would be an interesting scenario if he ends up going to City, because City are a team with such unity, it would appear, at the moment. And I think you're right. I think Sanchez has got a slight attitude problem, and we see it on the pitch at Arsenal when he's throwing his hands around when the games aren't going as well. If you put him into the City situation where, when they have fit players, they have 3 strikers with 1 striker's position, that could upset the balance there. It could upset the apple cart. Maybe it'd be better for United if he does go to City.
I don't think so.
Adnan, thanks for your call, mate. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
0345 111 7625 is the number to call. 87711 is the text number. We don't know where these rumours have come from at the end of the day. They could have come from Arsenal, who want more money. They could have come from the agents, who are trying to up the fee. They could come from United as a signal they want to, as you hinted at, Gaz, get rid of Mkhitaryan. It might be a, like, we're willing to sell this player kind of message. But you have to say, the one thing that it does say, if United go all out and sign a player like Alexis Sanchez in this window, in direct competition for City, that is a statement of intent, isn't it? And it may be a statement of intent that a lot of the United fans, and Jose even from his recent comments about spending, need at the moment.
Definitely, you know, you're right, Jim. You know, if we was to pinch him, you know, well, to be honest, like you're saying, I can understand City wanting him because he's a great player. But where would he play? Because I can't think at the moment who he'd come in for, you know. And like you're saying, if he's got a bit of an attitude, well, he's in and out, he's in and out. He's at 29, you've got to be playing every week. Well, not every week, but a lot of the games, like he does normally start Arsenal week in, week out. Do you know what? If we pinched him, Jim, it'd be a right statement, you know, and maybe a couple more. And it'd give that lift, not just to us fans, to the players and everything. And you never know, you know what I mean? I'm not saying we're going to catch City win the league. Newcastle was a lot further than us. You just never know. Something like that can just pick you up. And we could go on and run a 10, 11 games unbeaten, you know, you never know what's going to go on.
And also how the club looks to other players that are coming in potentially. If they see the signing of Sanchez as a signal of things to come, that could then have a knock-on effect with other players coming in.
Definitely. I think it would be a massive sort of negative to City as well if they had this transfer sort of done and dusted, ready to complete, and we were to just sweep in there and get him. I agree with what you said, Webby. I don't think we can talk about taking them over for the league or anything like that, but I do think that this signing would be massively, it would be really detrimental to them and really positive for us. So make it happen, man. We've got the money. Make it happen.
Yeah,
go out there and get it.
If you want to get involved in tonight's show, talk about the Sanchez saga or anything else United-based, 0345 111 7625 is the phone number, 87711 is the text number, and we'll talk to you next on the XS Manchester Football Social Full-Time Devils Takeover.
The X.
This is the XS Manchester Football Social Full-Time Devils takeover, your home for Manchester United in Manchester. 0345 111 7625 is the number if you want to get involved. 87711 is the text number. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you can always leave comments there as well. Now, we always like to wrap up the show with a little bit of yin and yang from Gaz and Webby. Gaz's nice one and Webby's moan. You're going to go first, Gaz. You're going to fill us with a bit of positivity. What's the great...
Yin and yang, I thought you were going to say Stadler and Waldorf.
That's better. I prefer Stadler and Waldorf. But we'll stick with yin and yang for now. Go on, Gaz. Fill us with positivity.
To be honest, mate, not an awful lot has gone on this week, really. And I don't want to talk about the transfers because I don't want to look silly if I'm saying, oh, nice one, we're linked to Sanchez, and then next week he's playing for City. So my only positive I can think is that we were all, the United team were waiting on that Coventry and Stoke result, because if it finished a draw, it means that we'd have to play again in the week. We'd have to play Stoke a little bit earlier on, and they wouldn't be able to go to Dubai for the warm weather training and sort of like a mini holiday, let's face it. But of course, Coventry did end up beating Stoke. So all the lads managed to go to Dubai, which is great for everyone involved, apart from the ginger lads in the squad.
That's very tenuous, guys.
Do we have any ginger lads in the squad? We don't have any gingers, do we?
There's a campaign there.
Maybe
the Rooney rule. There could be an amendment to the Rooney rule. Sort that out. Make sure there's a fair distribution of gingers as well. Right, Webby, what are you going to have a whinge about?
I'm whinging about this game being moved. If you don't know, the Yeovil game is now the Friday night. You know, but us fans, we can moan and we will moan, and I will moan. I don't moan all the time, folks, believe you me. But now you've got to get Friday off work. You know, when it's the travelling down, you just don't care about the fans anymore. But the clubs can't say anything. They had much money, so if you got to Yeovil, you're not going to work Friday. You've got to use a day's holiday or do a bit of ducking and diving to get there. 4-hour drive when it could have been on a Saturday or a Sunday. You know, there's my moan. But TV wins again, unfortunately. But money wins again.
Well, that's it. It's the double-edged sword. We've just 20 minutes ago been talking about pulling out all the stops to sign Alexis Sanchez and spending a load of cash, but in order to do that, you need to bend over for the TV companies and allow them to switch games to Friday and New Year's Eve and wherever it is all over the country.
Talking to a few people from Sky, going to be a lot of Saturday night games next year, you know, to clash with your X Factors and all that. And obviously there's a few games this year where they've been moved for Indian TV. You know, like I remember the Brighton-Everton game thinking, why is it 3 o'clock on a Sunday and you can't get on? He got moved for an Indian. They're putting more money into it now, you know. So are we going to have 11 o'clock kickoffs in the morning on a Sunday? Are they going to be 10 o'clock kickoffs at night to suit certain countries? But like you're saying, the Premiership, and all of a sudden this money's just going to go, so they're going to grab it while it's here, and we've got to go and watch them when it's right for them.
And you kind of have to accept, don't you, Webby, that the 5,000 or so travelling fans that will go down to Yeovil are in the massive minority compared to the millions of people that were the potential TV audiences.
Yeah, we won't. I wish we could get 5. I don't think the ground holds 5,000.
No,
I think it's about 8 or 9 when we got one last time. But obviously United fans in their areas, yeah. What can you do? You know, money talks and we play when they tell us to, and there's not what we can do, but I'm not happy.
Well, that's a 4-hour journey on a Friday. A slightly shorter journey on Monday is a 45-minute trip down the M6 to Stoke.
No, it's at Old Trafford.
Oh, is it Old Trafford on Monday? Are you fancying your chances then? Stoke haven't got any manager at the moment. They're rudderless in the Premier League.
You know what that means?
Yeah, you know what that means, don't you? Yeah, obviously, it was the first points we dropped this year away at Stoke, wasn't it? When we were the 2-all draw, you know. We had enough chances to win the game. We should have won the game. I'm a disappointed Mark Hughes has left Stoke, yeah, because as a United player, I loved him, one of my favourites, but always seems to have something with the teams to come back. And it's like some little snide digs, you know, and it hurt me as a Red because there was nothing better than seeing Hughes volley a Liverpool playing and scoring over the kicking and the great goals he scored for us, but you know, he's had enough time at Stoke to give him quite a lot of money, and it's not worked and he's lost his job. Like you're saying, you can guarantee that, like last year, their goalkeeper, he wasn't even signed for him. He had absolute world. Didn't we have something like 18 or 19 shots on target? They had one and equalised, you know. So strange in it at 1-0, you've got to get that second. But I'm expecting a tough game against Stoke. Always is. But we've got a win in the story.
They've got a very poor defence as well this season. I know they've just brought a full-back in. I'm not sure at all whether he's going to be starting straight away, but if so, and he is new to the league, then we should be going at them full-backs. Going at the whole defence, actually. I want to see us, for once, take a game by the scruff of its neck from the first minute. Not wait till the second half or wait until the other team takes the lead. Let's just go at these, because you can put a few past them, finish the game before half-time, potentially. I just don't want to say that, because they'll end up letting them equalise. But, look, let's go for these. They're having a very poor season. Confidence will be low. Manager's just been sacked. I don't think they'll bring someone in new before that. Let's just do it. Go for it.
I think one of the major blows for them, because you knew what you get with Stoke. You're going to get an hard game. Is the loss of that Shawcross. Been injured quite a lot this season. Obviously, the next United player, another one we sold for peanuts, never give him a chance. He's been out most of the season. It's not worked. They've bought some big players. Spent a lot of money. It's not worked for yous, unfortunately, but we've got to beat them Monday night, and we've, like Gaz said, just go at them. You know, I've seen them crumble recently against West Ham. Your team, Jim, went down there and give him a bit of a lesson, so you've got to go at them, and I think they'll crumble.
For Stoke is an issue that we've seen with teams before, particularly teams that seem to have let Tony Pulis go at some point, that they kind of lack an identity, and Stoke have, I mean, it's a while ago that Pulis left Stoke now, but they've been trying to reinvent themselves at a different club and have a certain playing style that's much more creative than it was, but they've just struggled.
I just think, Jim, the likes of Stoke and West Brom, how far do you want to go? You know, do you want to keep that thing where you stay in the Premiership all the time? And I remember seeing a tweet by a West Brom fan saying, lost my season ticket, if you find it, you can keep it. You know, that's how bad it was under Pulis for them, but how big do they think they can go? You know, they get above the level, and then one season they could come 8 for 9, then they want to try and get into Europe, but they've got to realise who they are, you know. You know, for a West Brom fan and a Stoke fan, it being in a Premiership every year, good enough and a decent cup run, you know, you should be happy with that, but they've gone a bit bigger, and unfortunately for Stoke, it's not worked.
Talking about fixtures, you've obviously the Manchester United Sevilla Champions League fixture is in the pipeline, and that's caused a few headlines this week with a row that's kicked off between United and the clubs themselves. Sevilla upped their ticket prices for that game over in Spain. They added 35 quid to the price of a ticket compared to the Liverpool fixture in the group stages. United have responded to that by charging away fans at Old Trafford for the return leg £89 for a ticket. Now, they're going to use that money to subsidise United fans that are travelling to Spain, which is a good thing. It's nice to see the club sticking up for fans for once, isn't it?
Yes.
But are they targeting the right people? Because actually, it's the club that have committed the wrong here by upping the ticket price, and they're punishing the fans.
The thing is, I understand why United wouldn't want to be out of pocket, so I kind of get why they're not doing this. But yeah, like you say, it's amazing to see United actually sticking up for fans off their own back. You know, I know there was a little bit of outrage, but United could have just got away with not subsidising the fans. They really could, and they've actually done it, and it's very nice to see, especially to travelling fans, because I think they're treated like absolute rubbish sometimes at United. I mean, I'm not someone who goes to loads of away games, but even I can see what the club do sometimes. But I don't, like you say, I don't think that charging the Sevilla fans was something that needed to happen. I think that the club could have actually just subsidised United fans off their own back. It wouldn't have cost them a ridiculous amount of money compared to what they're actually earning. However, you know, it does make sense, and maybe it'll make Sevilla look at themselves and say, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe the fans are going to hate us now. It's like it's our fault. So I think they're kind of pushing Sevilla to change something and do something themselves, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I just think this bit of stuff with the ticket, it's brought the game on. You know, it's hyped the game already for me, you know what I mean? Because if you look at the draw, I'm thinking, are we going to get added really good? They're struggling this year in the league. I watched them the other night. They got beat 4-2 at home, leaking goals. But what gets me a City off air before, Jim, every time a European team comes to United, lovely seats for a lovely price, nice bottom tier. Every time we go away, we're stuck up in the gods. You need oxygen by the time you get up there.
Sherpas.
You know what I mean? And the players look that big. Now, I remember a few years back, we played Feyenoord and we put them on tier 3. You know, when I think, is that a right thing to do? But I'm thinking, hang on, well, when we go away, you put us up at the top. They policed it well, and then they said something about they couldn't do it by the way the ground. I can't remember the reason why they couldn't do it anymore. But for me, we look after European fans too good. put them in the top tier. And someone tweeted me before, leave them outside and let them watch it on a big screen. But it is a bit silly having to go. It's not the Seville fans who have done it, have they? You know what I mean?
No,
but
and they've had their ticket prices for the game have been increased by 35 quid as well. So
Exactly.
they're getting hit at both ends here.
Exactly, and I feel sorry for them, to be honest. And I know that a lot of them are criticising their club. In fact, I've seen a lot of them on Twitter saying that they're embarrassed by what's happened. So I don't know. Hopefully, Seville actually look at themselves and think, right, maybe we should reimburse our fans a little bit here, and then everyone's happy at the end of it. But it's just not going to happen. But it's very good to see United being the powerhouse that we are, especially
and not getting
financially,
pushed over. You
and
know, like normally we've backed the fans 100%. Bang on for that.
Yeah, so fair play to United. I don't think we've done an awful lot wrong, to be honest.
Is it time to take a look at ticket prices for away games in Europe then in general? It's already happened for the Premier League with the cap of 30 quid, which was a great move for last year for the fans. So is it time for UEFA to go, we're going to do the same thing? You're already spending a load of money with your flights and your hotels or whatever. Let's cap it for away fans in Europe.
Tim, you're spot on, but it won't happen with UEFA, I'm afraid. You know, they'll always make some up excuse, and obviously when United come to town, it's the biggest game in the club's history, so they are going to put the prices up. You know, we've not just, I always remember we got to Birmingham a few years back we played them in the League Cup on a Wednesday, it was £20. We played them on a Saturday in the league and my same seat was 55. You know, so they've done that to make money, which I can understand. It's they might need extra police, but let's have a think about it. But UEFA won't get involved in any of that, Jim. They're too busy inside other people's pockets, allegedly. You know, so
good use of the word allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. So they're not going to do it, Jim. It's down to the club, like Gaz said. I just hope Seville United just give their heads a wobble. Let's sort this out and just get on with a two-legged game, which I can't wait to happen.
Right, that is all we've got time for tonight on the XS Manchester Football Social. These two boys will be back next Thursday for the next Full-Time Devils takeover, talking United. Tomorrow on XS Manchester, it's going to be the XS Football Social as normal, looking ahead to the weekend's games for City and United with Mickey Thomas and Danny Jackson. We will see you then on XS Manchester. Cheers, boys.
Nice one, mate.
Cheers, guys.